Train the muscles, not the joints.
So welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and today I'm going to train a little bit of chest, back, shoulders, and what else? Oh, a little bit of legs, okay? Because I'm going to go home and actually train a little bit of arms in the garage because I'm doing that super high frequent type training. And those of you that have done my 2-day split, the D program is coming out this week. I know I've been talking about this for a while, but I just finished actually writing it up, so I just got to get it all set and then I'll have it up on my website. But anyway, any of you guys that have been doing the 2-day split, you kind of understand how frequent training works, how you do lower volume. Sometimes you do higher reps. Sometimes you might even do isolation movements in order to achieve the higher frequency in your training. So you're going to see today, I'm doing some bench presses with 275 here, and that is a compound movement, obviously hard on the body and all that kind of stuff. But then I will be doing some lat pull downs, which in my opinion anyway, lat pull downs don't take a lot out of your body. They're not the same as deadlifts or bent over rows. Let's just put it that way, okay? Because when you're doing deadlifts or bent over rows, you're doing a lot of stabilizing. You're using a lot of those little muscles right next to the spine. You're using the hip muscles. You're using all these different things, and it takes more recovery to recover from those types of movements. So that's why you will see me interlace compound movements and then some isolation movements, because or you could also look at it this way, free weights versus machines, because machine movements take a lot less recovery under most circumstances, right? Because you're not using quite as many of the stabilizer muscles.
Okay, now I'm going to finish it off with some close grip. So my grips for bench press right now, which is closer than usual, but it's kind of a narrower grip for bench. I find I'm getting more chest squeeze with it and more chest development. But now I'll go in about 2 inches aside or so. Maybe 2-3 inches aside. We'll see. Anyway, we'll see. And that's close grip, so.
So I've had this question over and over again, and a lot of people ask me like, Jason, how much volume should I do? How many sets should I do? How much weight should I do? You know, these questions are common questions. You get them all the time over and over and over again from the new subscribers and things. And the fact is that volume and intensity is going to depend largely on your frequency. And if you're training more frequently like I do, you won't be able to do sets of 5 or sets of 4 or sets of 6 all the time. Once in a while, yes. Once in a while, I highly encourage you to go heavy, but if you're going to do super high frequent training, you don't want to be doing heavy all the time because you will overtrain very quickly and your joints won't be able to recover. So what I found was that when I did the bro split, where I trained, say a body part once a week and I went super heavy, I found that I didn't really get results from that type of training. I got some results, but there was a point to where it just didn't feel right. And then every time I went to the gym to train a body part, it felt like I was almost just trying to recoup for being out of shape. I was actually just out of shape every time I came to the gym, or when I trained legs once a week, I was like stepping on my tongue because I was so out of breath and everything. So I found that higher frequency type training and pumping the blood into the area with higher reps and lower reps, and sometimes doing compound exercises or sometimes using machines or isolation exercises, I found that I got more results that way because I was always in touch with my body and I was always moving it and developing that mind-muscle connection. So this is something that I would say, depending on your frequency in your training, will influence the amount of sets that you need to do. So if you're only training a body part once a week and you're already recovered a day after you train it. Well, you probably have to increase your intensity or increase your volume. So your sets have to increase from what you're doing because you're recovering within a day or something like that. Or you need to basically increase your frequency. So maybe you need to train the body part more times a week with the same volume. So this is how you can make that decision. This is how you can kind of decide what you should do with your training. Now, as you just noticed, I did shoulders there before I did back. Now, most of the time I will train my chest, my back, and my legs before other body parts. So if I'm going to train upper body, I'll do the big body parts first, the chest and the back, and then I'll move on to the smaller body parts. But in this case, I just felt like doing all the pressing at once. I felt like doing the chest, the triceps, and then the shoulders. Now, even that is kind of weird because usually I'll train shoulders before I train triceps. But because my shoulders are kind of dominant, I'm not really worried about training them first and putting all the energy into it. My shoulders are already dominant, and that's probably due to some of the laxity in the joint because of the hockey injuries that I had, right? So my shoulder muscles have to keep my shoulder stabilized all the time, so they get an extra workout all the time. So I found that it was better for me to go from bench press right into triceps and then move into shoulders so that my triceps get that little bit of extra work, because I want my triceps to come up more than my shoulders at this point because my shoulders are kind of overpowering my chest and stuff. Anyway, these are the reasons why I do some of the things that I do. So if you're training, there's really no one right answer for your program. So if you're saying, Jason, I want to know exactly how many sets I'm supposed to do, I have to say, go on feel. Find out how long is it taking for you to recover from your workout? How long before you can go back into the gym and train that same body part without feeling sore, or just feeling a tiny bit sore, tiny bit tight? Because I always find it's best to work out when you're just a tiny bit tight from the last workout, but not sore. You know, and we all know that type of sore that I'm talking about. Like say you do some deadlifts or something like that, and then you go in the gym the next day and your lower back feels like a bunch of broken glass is in there. That's not the right day for you to be training heavy squats, okay? That's not the right day for you to be training through that body part soreness, okay? So this is what I'm talking about. There's a difference between a slight tightness and then a soreness where you feel like something's gonna tear off the bone. So make sure you pay attention to that. But yeah, start off with any type of workout, start off with any type of program. I have some programs on my website if you need one, but you can probably get programs from all over the place depending on who your hero is or who you want to learn from. And the fact is, start with that template and then really pay attention to what's happening and how sore you're feeling and how long it's taking you to recover. And then that's going to give you a good idea of how to adjust things in the future. Okay, so what I'm doing here is applying a massage technique just to loosen up the quads and restore blood flow to the knees and the quadriceps. So I find this technique works really well. So if you're ever doing leg presses or, I did do a video on this, you can actually do this with a one-legged lunge as well, or one-legged squat. But I find pressing into the muscles, it actually helps align all the fibers in the quadricep and helps bring a lot of blood flow into the area. It helps loosen up the knees and everything feels really good. It feels like I can find my groove really well when the muscles aren't glued up or knotted and stuff. So it's like a massage therapy technique you can use on yourself when you're in the gym. So that's what I'm doing there. Some of you might be thinking, hey Jason, the last vlog you did some leg presses in there. Well, here's what's happening. A lot of times when I'm training at home, I'm doing the squats, the one-legged squats and Romanian deadlifts at home. So when I go to the gym, usually I don't feel like I need to do any free weights. I'm just there to use some of the machines that I don't have access to at my house. So this is why I'm doing the leg press again. I have some tight hamstrings and I talked to you about this at the end here, but I'm gonna give you a spoiler here. I did some Romanian deadlifts just a day or two before and my hamstrings are still really tight, so it's not really a good day for me to squat, and I felt like getting some pump going on in those quadriceps, and the best way to do that for me is leg presses. I find I don't really like hack squats that much, but I really do like leg presses. I find they really get the quads really good and I really get a good pump in there, good burn. They make me cry just a little bit, and that's always good. You know, crying in the gym is manly. When you cry in the gym, it's classified as manly. So with leg press, this is one of those circumstances where I may do more sets because I find it's not as hard on the overall nervous system, just like squats are. Okay, squats are absolutely totally, they're a killer on the lower back, the muscles in the upper back, lower back, the core, the legs, the hips, everything. Where leg press, yeah, you get some leg development and everything, but it's not as hard on your overall system. So I don't find that it's a big deal to do a couple extra sets, even if I'm doing super frequent training. So it's not a big deal for me to do 5 sets of leg presses if I'm training legs 4 or 5 times a week, right? But squats, on the other hand, if I'm doing heavy squats, there's no freaking way I'm getting away with doing that every day because, like I said, it just taxes the overall system much more. So these are things you just learn over time. As you train, you start to realize that certain exercises have different repercussions. Not every exercise is created equal, and not every exercise hits the body parts that you might want to hit. When you're doing legs, from a squat point of view, you're actually hitting the lower back, you're hitting so many other muscle groups, not just the legs. Where leg press, it pretty much does isolate the leg. I mean, you're not using a lot of lower back there and everything. Not that you can't injure your lower back on a leg press machine, because I've seen people do that. But what I'm saying is that you don't have the overall stress in those hip extensors and in the core and in the muscles close to the spine.
So that concludes the workout. I did some chest, back, shoulders, tris, and a bit of legs. Now I did some stiff-legged deadlifts last night, or Romanian deadlifts. I call them stiff-legged because that's kind of my version of the stiff-legged, is the Romanian deadlift. And I did that last night, so my hamstrings are pretty sore. So this is a primary example of a day to use a movement that doesn't include the lower back for legs. So that's why I did some leg presses instead of, say, squats or front squats or even lunges in some cases. So because my hamstrings are sore, I want to make sure that my lower back doesn't get tweaked or pulled, because hamstring tightness sometimes will cause a little bit of a rounding in the back, or it'll be harder for you to keep that arch or maintain that arch during an exercise. So you just want to be conscious of this if you do plan on doing Romanian deadlifts or even normal powerlifting deadlifts one day and then go to do some leg training the next day. So yeah, that's what I did. So yeah, it was a pretty good workout. So I'm going to go home now, train some biceps. I'm going to get something to eat. And thanks a lot for watching. And if you want to get a hold of me, just go to naturallandbodybuilding.com. And thanks a lot to the Patreon supporters out there. There's only a few of them, but I totally appreciate their support. So it really helps me make this content for you guys. And if you want to support this content on this channel, just go to patreon.com under Natural Land Bodybuilding. The link is down below. And thanks a lot for watching, and take care for now.